Hello, my name is Kirsten, and I'm going to be talking about the kind of mother I want to be to my kids. So I'm going to be basing a lot of what I say today off of my past experiences and what I've seen and learned from my mom and dad. I'm not saying that they were the perfect parents, but they were pretty darn close. They're pretty amazing. So one of the first things that I want to do as a mom is to make sure that my family comes first and to put them before everything else. That was something that my mom did really well. I saw a lot of sacrifice from my mom. She sacrificed a lot of the things in her life so that she could put us kids first in our family first. And I really, really appreciated that. And I feel like because of that and because of her sacrifices and her putting us before her, her wants and her needs, we're a much closer family. We're a lot tighter because of it. I think it's super easy to put other things or to let other things come before your family without even realizing it. But when I'm a mom, I definitely want to make sure that my family is priority and that they come first before everything. They also made sure that we knew who our grandparents were and that we knew where we came from. And I think that that's an incredibly important thing that I want to pass on to my kids. I want to make sure that my kids have the same relationship with their grandparents than I did growing up. I remember we'd always go over to Grandma Lynn's house every single Sunday for Sunday dinner, and then during the summers we'd go back to California, where my mom's from, and we'd visit my my California grandma and grandpa Clark. And I just remember those times being so special, and so I want to make sure that my kids, when I'm a mom, have the same kind of opportunities to get to know their grandparents that I do. I think it's super important to know where you come from. This is a picture of my great grandma Turley, and she was awesome. She was so cool. When she was 50 years old, she went to the Amazon and she hunted a crocodile and she made a purse and shoes out of it. She's just the neatest lady. And if my parents hadn't had or hadn't stressed the importance of forming relationships with not only them and our grandparents, but also our great grandparents, I never would have met her, and she is so special to me. I think that another big thing that my family did that I love and that I want for my kids is we had tons of traditions. So once a month or twice a month, we'd go down to this little ice cream shop in Stevensville, Montana called Mary's Place, and we'd get huckleberry ice cream, and then we'd drive through the Lee Metcalf Wildlife Refuge, and we'd watch the ducks and stuff like that and count turtles while we ate our ice cream. We also do a tradition every single Thanksgiving called a cast and blast. So my dad and my brothers and I all hop in the raft and we get our shotguns and we get our fishing poles and we float down the river and we go duck hunting and fishing every single Thanksgiving, and that's just what we do. And then my family kind of goes all out for Christmas. We have tons of traditions and we do tons of things. I have two main favorite traditions. The first one is going and getting a Christmas tree in the dark. I don't know how this happened, but it happens every single year. Inevitably, we always go up into the mountains at like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night trying to spotlight a tree that we can cut down. And let me tell you, we've gotten some ugly trees, but we've had a lot of fun doing it. This year we actually found a bird's nest in our Christmas tree, and then 3 years ago my dad and I ran into a mountain lion while going and getting our tree. But it's always just been super fun. It's something that my brothers and I look forward to every single Christmas. The second tradition that I really like is we listen to a recording of my great grandpa reading the Christmas story in Luke chapter 2, and he's just got this thick, wavery Swedish accent that you can kind of understand. But we listen to that every Christmas Eve, and it really just kind of sets the tone for the next morning. And so I have it here. We have a recording of it. So I'm just going to play a little bit for you. Let's see if it works. That there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. That was in your RNA. Anyway, so he reads all of Luke chapter 2, and we listen to it every single Christmas, and that's just one of my favorite traditions that we have. So I think that traditions are important, and I want them I want to implement them as a mom for my kids for a couple different reasons. I think they're so important because they help set a precedent for who you guys are as a family. They give something for your kids to look forward to, and I think that they really help bring people together within a family. My brothers and I still talk about old traditions that we have and how much we look forward to those. They really help strengthen relationships, and they're fun. You can have fun traditions, silly traditions. You can also have spiritual traditions. I think that one of the traditions that I want to have when I'm a mom is a tradition of having family prayer and family scripture study every single night, and having family home evening every single night, and just kind of stressing the importance of having those spiritual traditions as well. I think that another important thing that I want to implement when I have my kids is one-on-one time. That's one thing that I feel like I had a lot of with my parents. I think it's probably because I was the last kid in the house for 4 years while my brothers were at college. But because of that, I was able to develop really special relationships with both of my parents. I think that my dad and I probably spend more time together. I think we're more similar in our personalities and our interests, and so because of that, he was always the one who would, go, and he would take me fishing, and he would take me on pack trips, and we'd go camping, and I ended up spending a lot of just good quality time with my dad, and I feel like I have a relationship with him that a lot of teenage girls, don't have with their dads. And so when I'm a mom, I definitely want to be not someone who's, idle and, just sits at home and doesn't really do a lot. I want to get out there with my kids. I want to take them kayaking. I want to take them rafting and fishing and stuff like that. Because I know that really helped strengthen me and my dad's relationship. Because of him, I got into so many different positive outlets. And I felt like I was able to talk to him because we spent so much time together. Oh my gosh, we're so cute. Look at that. My mom and I have a much different relationship than I do with my dad. I think my dad and I spend way more time together than I do with my mom. But I feel like I can talk to my mom about things that I don't necessarily talk about with my dad. When I want opinions on something, when I want insight, when I want to know if I could have done something different in a different situation, or if I'm looking for comfort, or I just need to vent, if I just need to talk at all, I just go to my mom. And she's always there. She always listens. She always gives the best advice. And honestly, it's really directed by the Spirit, a lot of what she says. And so, even though I feel like I don't spend as much time with her because we don't have the same interests, she's still definitely my confidant. And that's something that I definitely want for my kids. I want my kids to be able to come to me like I do to my mom. So I kind of just want to take, my favorite parts of my dad and my favorite parts of my mom and smush them together. When I'm a parent, I want to be the fun mom who goes and does stuff, but I also want to be, that person that they feel like they can come to and talk to me about things that they're struggling with. I also think that another thing that's super important is to be able to spend time together as a family. That's one thing that my parents did. Oh my gosh, look how cute my brothers are. They're so fun. Even though we didn't always like each other a lot, my parents always made sure that we always were doing things together as a family. We'd take family trips every summer, and we would just spend time together. And I think that when I'm a mom, that's definitely something that I'm going to implement. I'm going to make sure that we're constantly doing things together as a family, because those family relationships are so important. I also want to make sure that I'm reading to my kids every single night. That's one thing that my mom did with us. I think some of my fondest memories are of just kind of curling up on her bed and falling asleep while she's reading Harry Potter to us. And so when I'm a mom, I'm definitely going to read to my kids and stress the importance of an education. And finally, I think that one of the best things that you can do for your kids, and one thing that I want to do, is just love their dad. My parents were such a good example of this. They're so cute. Even when they were having marital problems or they were fighting, we never heard about it. I didn't hear about it until I was like 18, and my mom was like, "Oh yeah, we used to fight sometimes." And I just never knew. They were always so kind and respectful towards each other, and they always, like, you could just tell that they loved each other. You could tell that they were in love. And so that's one thing that I want to do with my husband, in front of my kids, is I just want to show them how much I love their father, and how much I respect his priesthood and admire him. And because I do. Sorry, it's kind of a weird picture. I just think it's funny. Because I do love their father so much, and I'm so grateful for the priesthood that he holds and for the blessing that he is in my life. And so these are some of the things that I want to implement when I'm a mom. I want to have traditions with them. I want to put my family first. I want to have one-on-one time with them so that I can be there for the crossroads of their lives, and have monthly interviews with them just so I know, who they are and what's going on in their lives. I want to spend so much family time together. It's ridiculous, and I just want to show them that I love their dad, and I hope that I can be a good mom to my future kids.